vibes. Welcome to the Sekei Diaries on Parent Guilty Conscious, episode 7, where I had told you earlier I will be introducing my 2 nannies. What I want to tell you is that no one will ever fully be able to understand the internal battles I have had to endure just to start this healing process, just to grow, just to make it here today. Be proud of the way I fought to save myself from depression and anxiety, that I am still battling, and be proud of myself, the way I'm handling and surviving. A lot of things broke my heart, but they fixed my vision. Can you imagine? I received a call from an anonymous number because I've been advertising my podcast, the Sekei Diaries, on Parent Guilty Conscious. And this anonymous caller just said, I was just calling to check if you're still alive. How would you feel, honestly speaking? And this weekend, it really started in a good way. This is something positive. A friend of mine asked me if I can help to babysit her children, and I agreed. And out of coincidence, the children are just the exact age that I left my kids back home. I was very, very emotional. I spent the night with the children. I stayed with them. We watched a movie. We all slept. When it came in the morning, when my friend came back, before I left, I could not hold myself because she noticed I was emotional. I was very, very emotional, and I could not express myself how excited I was. I was happy. I felt like a mother again. I took care of a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. All the motherly love, all the emotions were there. I really cried. And the only thing she did, she hugged me so tight. I was making the bed. And she just hugged me and said, this is part of your healing. This is part of your healing. And true to her word, it is. My kids were so young when I left. I'm sorry, guys. Let me go back to my story. A recap on my 6th episode. Part 2. Where my daughter said a short story on what was happening and how my nannies came about all this. I know all of you all had my daughter, and I got emails on that episode. A lot of encouragements, a lot of improvements. One improvement I really got from her, I call her my sister, and I'll improve on that. Their father was a very important person in my children's life. I prefer being corrected. I stand corrected, and I appreciate my friend because they want to see me grow. They want to see this podcast grow, and I really do appreciate. There were some negative emails also. I got text message from my friend, and then I got a negative email, and also I got a text. Somebody also, and he's my friend, questioned me why I'm exposing family. And I said, I need to heal. I want my children to heal. I will not carry this weight and hurt all the days of my life. I need to say, before I even started this podcast, I talked to my family. And they know about the podcast, and they encouraged me because they knew This is like therapeutic to me. I need to say even my family can hurt you, and we can openly talk about it. I will no longer ignore the hurt because it is real. I let the hurt soften me instead of hardening me. I was bitter by keeping it. Very bitter. But I have decided to let the hurt open me instead of closing me. I have let the heart send me, looking for those who will accept me instead of hiding from those who will reject me. My family know about the podcast, so I'm not hiding anything. I know it never rains forever. It's still stormy now, but we'll be okay. Just today, as I was talking to my kids, there's an incident that just happened. But what am I supposed to do right now? I will bring that in the next episode. All was going well with my two nannies. My children were doing great. I was taking them for movies over the weekend. They resumed going to church. My son was baptized even. My daughter was also baptized. Things were going on well. I had no issues, apart from a few things here and there. But they were things you could overlook as long as they were not affecting my children. My brother's wife knew how to provoke these nannies. I kept talking to them over and over again that they should ignore her, but it was going to deaf ears. They were not listening to me. I talked to my sister about what was going on, and she advised me to look for a rental house. And I rented, and I rent because I had two nannies. They were okay. So for the peace of mind, she advised me to look for a house. I wanted to buy instead of renting a house. And because I saw the process of mortgaging a house will take like forever, I told my neighbor, male friend, to help me in getting a house. And he was hands-on. I had nothing, remember, when my kids left my cousin's house. I basically left her with everything. And where they were currently staying with my brother at my dad's house, I did not want to move with anything that I bought. So I started from scratch. I furnished the house from spoons to electronics to cups to beddings to curtains to toiletries to carpets to tables, comforters to mattresses. I bought everything. I had rented an empty house. Empty. And I said, I will start afresh. This is a new start. I didn't want to carry the burden, the stress. I wanted new stuff. I needed to move my kids in that house. While doing all this, I did not even tell my nannies, nor my kids. I was just planning on my own with this family friend and his mom, now the late. May God rest her soul in eternal peace. The mom really encouraged me that as long as she is alive and she's there, she will help me and the nannies and the kids will grow. It's unfortunate God had other plans for her. May her beautiful soul continue resting well. She was hands-on. She encouraged the son to help me a lot. She was like the key that drove the son to help me more. So when the house was fully furnished, I just told my nanny to pack up everything from clothes, all the kiddos' clothes, no beddings, just clothes and school stuff. That's all I needed, their clothes and the school stuff. So my nannies, and their stuff. So my nannies, they did exactly as I did. Once they were done, they gave me a call and I told them, a friend of mine is coming to pick you guys up. So my friend went at exactly 6 p.m. They were picked up and they went to a new house. My kids thought they were at a friend's house like usual, the way I normally move them. They just thought this is a friend's house. They were given the key to the gate, the key to the main house. This was emotional for me. My daughter, when they came in the house, that's when I told them, this is your house. This is where you guys are going to be living. So there was tears of happiness. It was just tears of joy. My kids were, this is our house now? Is this ours? My daughter was like, Mommy, you said this is my bedroom? My son was like, this is my room? I was like, yes. Because I had decorated my son's bedroom with the Spider-Man and all that. I had put a lot of stuff in their rooms. I had just tried to modernize their rooms. My daughter's room had like everything that I ever wanted for them. So they were excited. They were so excited. And they were like, Mommy, is this ours for real? I said, yes, that is your house now. Nobody will ask you anything. That is your house. Mommy, you mean this is our... They could not believe it. They were so emotional. I bought everything in that house. They went in a fully furnished house. They only carried their clothes. I told them, the only thing you guys need to do is to arrange your clothes in your closets. And that's it. I told my brother where my kids moved, and he was okay. He even asked if he can visit, because it was not even far. It was like a different court, a different neighborhood, but it was just the same area. It was not even like a 2-mile distance. So my brother went and visited, and I told him, you're welcomed anytime. I even told my nephews and my nieces, that's like, this is home also. They're always welcomed. Because my kids needed family also, you know. I could not separate my kids with their cousins, so it was okay for them. So I never changed my kids' school, and because it was just a 2-mile distance. And they were very happy. I tried and made their life easier because I paid for vacations and they could go on trips. Life was good. Despite my financial strains, I was at peace. Our family friend who helped me achieve all this was living in the same neighborhood, just a few blocks away from the house where my kiddos moved to. He could pass by the house on a daily basis when he left work, on evenings or sometimes in the mornings. It depended with his schedule. So he used to keep an eye on the house. Even when his mom was alive, she used to keep an eye on the house. And even his wife used to keep an eye on the house. The wife could spend like the whole day or afternoons at my house just to help also with this transition process. So I was so appreciative, and to date, I really do appreciate that. So my family friend also used to help with shopping, help in anything required by the school. He could sort that for me, and then head home. When I needed anything from school, when the kids came with letters from the school, he could sort that. When my kids had trips, name it, from paying that rent, from loading the electricity, anything small in the house, he used to help. I used to send him the money and he used to pay all the bills, like everything. He was like a brother to me, a very close brother to me. Like family, like completely. I cannot even categorize where I could keep him. He was like an angel sent. So our family friend, I could send him money, like anything, from electricity to water bills to security to trash bill to school fees to grocery shopping. When my kids were sick, he could be there to take them to the hospital. He could call his boss and say, my son or my daughter is sick, and he could get that permission and take my kids to the hospital, you know. He was, like I just said, he was an angel. And on top of that, I used to pay him for helping me out. Even the way he helped me move in my new house, I paid him so well just as an appreciation. Months passed and everything was okay. But my nannies now were too relaxed. Too relaxed. And they had started behaving in a funny way, and this was worrying me. And some people would say, worrying is a waste of time. It does not change anything. It just messes with your mind and steals your happiness. When this is true, I had to worry, and this messed me up. My nannies were now not responsible. You know, they changed. They could now do things the way they wanted. Kids could wake up before them. No breakfast, no nothing. I mean, they sleep in and wake up when they feel like. One of the nannies, it's on a weekend maybe. Kids are home. She sleeps until 1 p.m. Who does that, honestly? I've employed you to take care of these kids. It reached a point my daughter could go in the kitchen and prepare breakfast on her own. Remember, I employed 2 nannies in this house. 2 nannies. So they both sleep. The other one will just sleep until her daughter wakes up. She's so busy with her child, only wakes up when her child wakes up. Lord, what do people really want? I had tried and kept these nannies to the best of my the way I could. I did everything. I talked to my nannies about that behavior. But they said they were listening and they will change. But this behavior kept on going. So I had a cousin on my mama's side who went to visit and stayed for like 7 days with her son. She was a guest because I had told them that my cousin is coming. And she clearly saw that, what my nannies were doing. They could sleep in. They did not care. My cousin used to wake up, prepare breakfast, prepare for the kids before she could have left and done whatever brought her to the city. So she saw this behavior and she told me, and I told her, I've already talked to them about that behavior. They never even bothered now, even if my kid's mom, like, my cousin on my mom's side, in our culture, that's like my kid's mom now. So my kids called her mom because she's from my mom's side. So whenever in our culture, if you have an auntie and it's from your mom's side, that's like your mom. So they did not bother. So I told my cousin, I already knew they could even, my cousin told me, they could even pile up laundry. I mean, they did as they wished. I talked to them again and again about the house. I told them about the house chores. Please, change. Kids need to wear clothes. Like, please, the clothes were just piling up. The laundry was just up. I mean, you're 2 nannies, 2 grown women. It was now too much. And I was so worried. And then I just started having flashbacks. Now, these kids, I have a new house. What happens if I tell them now, I'm done with you guys. Your job is done. I'll start to square zero now again. So I tried my best to talk to them. And they changed for like almost 1 week. Just a week, everything was cool. But again, it just started. They did not listen. One thing I noticed, my daughter changed again also. She went quiet. And I wondered what happened. My son also started avoiding my phone calls. I was very concerned because this behavior, my kids had changed. They were comfortable now. They were in their house, mommy's house, They were so happy. This is mommy's house. But I was very concerned with this change. So after a while, I talked to my friend who was helping me in the house, remember? So I talked to him and then I told him, I need you to go talk to my kids because there's some change that is worrying me. As a mom, even with the distance, I could notice what happened. I was used to this kind of parenting, so I could notice a change very easily. So my friend who was helping me in the house with the kids, I asked him when he could pass by and then call the kids aside to talk to them. Because the kids also had become very, very close to him. Because he was treating them right, with the attention they needed. He could go to the house, pray with the kids at night before they even go to bed. That's how close he was with my children, especially my son. So he promised me that he will help me find out what is happening. So one day, to find out what was happening in the house, I decided to send my nannies, both of them, to the market. It was a little bit far. So I sent them stuff. So one of them, I sent them separately. So we decided, we knew how long it's going to take, maybe a 2 hour or whatever, 2 or 3 hours, because one of them was a little bit shady. So we knew she will take time. But this other one with the kid, because she left the child at home, we knew she will come very fast. She will go do her stuff and come back chap. So once we sent them, so that we could remain with the kids and kind of try find out what is happening. So this is when my daughter dropped the bomb and said that the nanny that is taking care of her, this is the one that I'm saying that she's kind of shady. Now the sister to the nanny who has the child, now she had started bringing men in my house. I was like, Mommy, what did you just say? Yes, Lord, why? And they're sleeping at the back. That back room I had left like a guest room. So they're sleeping at the back. I had a spare guest room extension that they had. And I had warned them not to use it because it was just for guests, and maybe, God willing, one day when I go home, that will be my room. So this shocked me because my daughter told me, Mom, please don't tell her that I told you, because we've been warned not to tell anything. My daughter was given a stern warning that if she says a thing, she will face it. This really killed me inside, because why do people do this, honestly? Why again, And my daughter told me, Mommy, remember what I told you. And if you remember my episodes, when I keep on saying, my daughter keeps on telling me, Mommy, the moment you shout at them or you ask them something, they normally come back to us, Mom, whenever you're not on phone, because it will all land on me. It will not go to my brother. It will just be on me, because they say I'm the one who tells Mommy everything. So she knew what was going on, and she knew it was not right, and she really wanted to tell me, but she was scared. Later on, she told me she was scared and remembered how they had been treated by people from the past. So she kept it, just as I've told you, she kept it. So I told my family friend that my daughter had told me what my daughter had told me. So because I could not take action immediately, we talked with the security guards. So I told my friend to go talk to the security guards if they had signed up someone to come to our house. And if it's different people, I also wanted the truth. Because where my kids lived, you had to sign up to get through the gate. And that's how we found out it was different men. Different men. And my nanny had lied that those are my guests. So the security guards were allowing them to my house. Because they were saying, Mama has said, this is the guest coming to check on the toilet, he's a plumber, he's a whatever, like that. That's how they used to lie. So these different men used to come in the house. So we had to strategize so that the nannies don't do anything to my kids, Because even if I chase them immediately, my kids will remain with nobody. And they will be like, there's no one in that house with them. So we went with the knowledge and presented it to the nannies, because we told them the security guards are the ones saying that there are men who come here, and you normally tell them that it is me who has requested for that. And I asked them what it's all about, So my nannies were tongue-tied, They didn't say nothing when they came back, because we insisted, and I called one of the security guards to confirm. And they said they've been worried because this house all the time, it's plumbing, it's electrical, it's a TV or the TV mounting. Like there's excuse after excuse, and it's different men. So the security guard really wanted to know, because there's a theft can happen and then they're the ones who are blamed. So when the security guard came and together we presented, it was like we ganged up on them. So the nannies had nothing to say. I did not take action immediately, but now I was left to look for a new nanny, Unfortunately, our family friend, at that particular time is when he lost his mom. It was just abrupt. So I had to hold on to whatever I wanted to do. This was like my children's grandmother. It was my mom. She was my mom. And it took me like around 40 days before I reached out to my friend with my issues again. We used to talk, but not my kids or my nannies or whatever. I put all that on hold. And it took like around 40 days with my issues. And I gave him the space and the room just to mourn. And during this time, I was communicating often with the day and night guards, even paying them extra just to keep an eye on my house. You know, as we Africans, you entice somebody with a little bit of money and true to my word, they kept an eye on the house. They kept an eye on my kids. They could tell me even the time my kids get in the house, how my nannies used their movements, going and coming. You know, now they were not bringing these men in the house. My nannies were okay, but now one of them befriended my niece plus my brother's wife. Now, again, you go to the person who made you guys live, and they started ganging up on my daughter. Because this nanny that I tell you was shady, insisted that it was my daughter who told on her. So my daughter kept to herself. It really affected my daughter. There was even a day my niece came with my cousin. Now, this is my niece, came with my cousin on my dad's side. And I did not know that. I didn't know. And my daughter did not know my cousin. My daughter knows my niece now like the cousin. But there's a cousin on my father's side. My daughter has never even met her. She has met my daughter when she was young. But my daughter didn't know her. So, and I had not heard from my cousin for years. And all of a sudden, she was at my place selling clothes. So I did not know at first it was my cousin. Now, my nanny was with them. Honestly, I did not know. And I got mad. I told my nanny, why are you bringing hawkers to my house? In fact, inside the house, you're trying out clothes. Please don't do that at my house. The reason I found out, it was not even that my daughter had told me. I had called my nanny and she was not picking the phone. So, and her phone was exactly where my daughter was seated. And now my daughter saw it was me calling and she picked up. And she was like, hi, mommy, hi. And then asked her, where's the nanny? And she told me she's in the bathroom changing clothes. So she had locked the door. So that's how my daughter told me where she was and what my nanny was doing, that she's trying clothes. There's a lady who's come to sell her clothes, and the lady has come with my niece, now my daughter's cousin. And apparently this lady was my cousin, and my daughter did not know her. So she had never met her either. Maybe like I told you, she was a baby by then. So when my nanny picked the phone, I told my nanny, please stop bringing strangers in that house. Please. I insisted. So there was a huge misunderstanding because I ended up chasing everyone in the house, plus my niece, plus my cousin. I didn't know. My daughter did not know who there was. And I did not know who were in my house. So apparently, I just found out my cousin sells clothes. But it's just like a side hustle that she had. And but later on, I did not know she had beef with me because of that incident. And nobody even told me it was her. I just came to find out from a cousin's group that she's the one who was at my house, but I never knew. And the sister is the one who told me that I chased her sister from my house. But that's when I explained myself. So another time, my family friend went to visit him, and the brother, and they found the kids. My family friend had gone to visit my house. This is after they had lost their mom, and so they just came by. It was my friend plus the brother plus the sister. They just passed by my house to go just check on the kids before they left. And they found my kids had not eaten. Nothing. This incident happened when my son called me. My son had just called me and told me, Mommy, I'm hungry. Now they had access to phones, So my son called me that, Mommy, I'm hungry. I'm like, where is your nanny? Then my son said, she's sleeping. And I'm like, where is the other nanny? My son said she's outside with her daughter. They're playing, but she was hungry. So, my son just kept on. When I questioned him, he's like, Mommy, I'm hungry. Mommy, what will I eat? He even started crying. So at that particular moment when I was with him on phone, that's when my friend came in with the brother and the sister. And I was just mad. I was really mad. And my friend took the phone and I just told them, just go get, we have this culture milk. We call it mala. This culture milk, and I went and bought them culture milk and bread. Can you imagine? And I have 2 nannies. Imagine one of the nannies that has a child at my house. She left 3 kids in the village. And I pay school fees for these 3 kids in the village. And I even help her mom because her mom was sickly. So I was even helping her mom back in the village. And I used to send her mom like the hospital bills and some food for money sometimes, to avoid my nanny wanting to go back home, so that I did not want my children to remain on their own. So I used to help a lot. But I don't know why they were doing this to my children. Why? So I don't know if this will happen often, but this was the first time my son had called me that she's angry. She's hungry. Now you can imagine how I felt. Any mother, you're paying somebody, 2 people, in fact, to take care of your children, but none of them is doing what they are paid to do. There's plenty of food in the house, but they've not cooked the food. Nobody is cooking. And I asked my son where my daughter was, and my daughter was just out with friends, like usual. So my friend went, organized very fast. My kids ate, and I don't know, because it was even hard to talk to them. So I just got mad and I told them, you guys, you better pack up. I've tried my best to talk to you guys. You're 2 grown women, but you guys are not listening. The only thing that is remaining, I want you guys to leave. Because now it's too much. But deep down my heart, I did not want them to leave. But again, I wanted them to leave. But I was afraid. My kids would remain alone again. But they were just doing stuff. So I just told them. They didn't even say nothing. I had no plan B. They were not even remorseful at all. And I saw, if I leave them here, this thing will continue. The nanny with the child, I felt for her. I really did. I did not want to let her go. I did not want to. But she was not concentrating on my kids, honestly. And the sister was just like, where you gone? She wasn't even bothered. She did not care. So there was no apologies, no tears. So I told them, I gave them until morning to pack up and leave. And I gave my friend their salary and their transport back to the village. I had no plan B, my friends. My listeners, I had no plan B. But I had to let them go. They had no remorse. So I just let them go. I was torn once again. But I talked privately to my children how they felt about it. They both told me. They were young. They told me, Mommy, we will make it. Just let them go, Mommy. They've not been treating us right. Now my kids had that strength. And they told me, Mom, let them go. Let them go, Mom. And I listened. I listened to what my children said. You all, if you like the show, please consider leaving a review. This helps my podcast to grow. Then hit the follow button. And if you have questions, send me an email at achoch@gmail.com. Or if you want your story to be shared anonymously or want to join on my show, contact me on my email. And once again, I want to thank you for your feedback and for your reviews. Thank you you so much for listening. I appreciate you for tuning in and taking time to listen to my story. Please share, follow wherever you're listening to. Any podcast, Spotify, Apple, Spreaker, Google, and iHeart. Coming up next time on Sekei Diaries on the topic of parent guilty conscious is my 8th episode, where my family friend gives me her cousin to help me with the kids, the new nanny. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.